Hello, Bob Lester is my name from the Watertown Museum. Today we'll talk about some of the large stores that were in Gunnedah and are now gone. There was four of them basically: the McDonald's, Stories, Hawk and Trelaws and the Kaluas Farmers Cooperative. Now just a little bit of information about these. McDonald's started off as old George McDonough and his wife opened a little village store in the village of Carroll, not far from Gunnedah. In about 1900 they moved their business into Gunnedah in an area of land, with vacant land in those days, opposite what is now the Gunnedah District Services and Bowling Club. Now they set up a part of the early part of the store, but must have had enough foresight into buying the rest of the land that was there. And over the years they built this magnificent large buildings that were there, and they sold literally everything from fashion wear, menswear, shoes, hardware, toys, groceries, your farm machinery, you name it, they had it. And they lasted for a long time. They lasted until the 1970s, where businesses changed and they went out of business. Another store that was around for a long time was Stories. Now, Stories was commenced by two brothers, Ashley and George Story, again in the early part of the century, and their buildings are still there, but they're just a multitude of shops now. They're in about where the Gunnedah News Agency now is, with about the centre of it. And they had much the same thing. A great supply of various products. They didn't go into farm machinery, and they had some building products, but not as much as McDonald's. And they lasted a long time. The family died out. Things changed and the business folded. Another one was Hawk and Trelaws, which is across the road from the Gunnedah Town Hall. Right on the corner is now the Verdict coffee shop, and there's a series of shops up there now, which is called the Civic Mall. Now that was all part of Hawk and Trelaws, which then was purchased by a Central West New South Wales group called the Great Western Stores, then later off purchased from them by a company called Permuans, and they lasted right through well into the 60s or probably early 70s. I can't really remember, but they also just simply died. The last one to fail really was the Kaluas Farmers Cooperative. Now it's a big building that goes from the traffic lights in Gunnedah down to the next little laneway, and also had a big engineering and farm machinery business out on the Boggaroy Road. It was a big thing. Now the co-op was formed in 1936 by a group of farmers in the Kaluas area, and their idea was things were still bad because of the depression, and they were actually buying on a wholesale rate and selling the products to themselves. A group of about 10 farmers each put money in and started it. They then formed a retail store in Kaluas. The building is still there. Then they moved to Gunnedah probably in the late 1930s, or probably in 1940s, and they bought this building and set themselves up and did much the same thing. There was menswear, ladies' wear, clothes, children's wear, clothes of all sorts, groceries, green groceries. They're a wonderful fruit and veg area, electrical, produce, which is as in food for animals, and also a very large farm machinery area where they sold a lot of very popular farm machinery. And that went on for quite a while until fairly recently, only a few years ago. They sold their hardware business to Petrie's, which is still in business. Now Petrie's Mitre 10 is a branch of the Peachtree Company, which was formed in Mudgee, and there's quite a few of those in New South Wales. So business goes on, things just change. So we have in our museum, the Watertown Museum, a lot of that information, pictorial and in the written form. We invite you to come and see it. We're open every Saturday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and for groups we will open especially. So you'll be very welcome.